Hi everybody, welcome back to DayZ, welcome back to the lake just above Tizzy, and in this beginner's guide video I'm going to be talking about fishing, because if you're new to the game you might not be aware of this mechanic that will keep you alive. So what we're going to be looking at is the proper fishing rod and how to make an improvised fishing rod, which is incredibly easy to make, and we're going to be looking at making bone hooks as well out of dead animals. But first off, let's have a look at the proper fishing rod, if we could call it that, this baby here. Now in order to make this work you need to add a hook to it that has bait on. So let's put my fishing rod away. Now you will find hooks around places like this, actually, boats and things like that. But we need to get some worms. Now to get some worms you can have a anything that can, well, lots of things that can dig, so things like spades and axes, and that's actually not axes, pickaxes might be able to dig, but knives we can dig for worms. Now, when you dig for worms, you may well be tempted to eat the worms afterwards, but I take it under good advice that actually there's absolutely no point eating worms, because the energy you use digging up the worms is more than it is to actually than you get from eating the worms. Now once you have your worm, you can take your worm into your hand and you can combine that with a hook. So you see there it says craft fishing bait, or I've already got a hook in my pocket somewhere, haven't I? Have I got one, or is it in my hat? You can put one in the front of your boonie hat, can't you? There it is. So we can combine these two, and we're going to craft some fishing bait now. There we go. And remember, with DayZ, often when you craft something, the thing that is crafted is left on the floor. So there we have fishing bait, which is the hook with a worm already on it, which is great. So now what we can do is we can equip our fishing rod, and we can take our fishing bait, we can put that on there, and the fishing rod now is good to go. So what we could do is we can go to the water and we can start fishing. Now it is not a sure thing to catch anything. Sometimes you won't catch anything, sometimes you might catch a fish, sometimes you might pull up an old pair of boots or something like that. And what will happen is every time you fish, the wear on your hook and your rod will go up. Oh look, we've caught a fish, we've caught a carp, so we'll put that in our backpack. But you'll notice that now our fishing hook is bare, so if we wanted to fish more we would have to we'd have to dig up some more worms. Now the problem could well be, what happens if you haven't found a fishing rod? Well, it's very easy to make a improvised fishing rod. All you need to find is some rope and a long stick. So if I take this long stick to my hand and I look at the rope, you can see it says craft improvised fishing rod. So we can just craft an improvised fishing rod. Dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum. And there we have an improvised fishing rod, or a simple fishing rod as they call it. Very good. Just as effective. And all we need to do with this one is, if we put that into our hands, you'll see it's got the space for the hook, so we just need to dig up some worms, combine the worms with the hook to make the bait, add that to the fishing rod, and we can go fishing. However, I just wanted to show you some other stuff as well. Let's say you can't find any rope for your fishing rod. If you combine a couple of piles of rags, so if I take this pile of rags of 6 to my hands and then look at this rag, it says craft rope. Because we all know that finding sticks is pretty easy. You can just go up to most of the larger bushes and you'll be able to extract and craft sticks from them. So now we have rope on the floor that we could use with a stick. Now as far as hooks go, because hooks can be quite difficult to get hold of, if we simply cut up an animal, where's my knife? Let's skin and quarter this hen. What you should see is there should be some bones left over, and then if we look at the bones we should then get the option to craft some hooks. There we go. So see, it says craft improvised hook, so we're going to hold that. And what we'd always recommend is, if you do get bones, just craft some hooks, even if you haven't got any plans to go fishing straight away. And you can keep them in your backpack. They don't weigh much, they don't make up much space, but if you're in a bit of a tight spot and you think, oh god, I could really do with some food, you can always go and where are they? There we go, chicken hooks. bone hooks, you can always go fishing. So there we go, my friends. Hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully this will help to keep you alive. And I highly recommend fishing because it's obviously very stealthy compared to hunting animals where you're going to be firing your gun. It's quite relaxing to do, and I think it's pretty cool to be able to find on the map a nice little lake or a nice little pond. You can go fishing, you can take the fish out, you can cut the fish up, you can cook it, enjoy it over a nice little open fire, and it is very PvE, it is very survival, it is very immersive. Anyway, that's enough from me. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you have, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.